What do you think of our justice system?
I think it works better in autonomy. I think once you put it out in the open, even though I sometimes am intrigued by it.
Meaning what? Putting it on
TV,
camera?
I think it changes everybody. I think it changes everybody. I think the media influences it far too much. Their opinions are far too, I think the public who follow cases are swayed by the opinions of the various pundits who comment on it.
But isn't it the jurors who matter? Isn't it the jurors that matter, and does the camera affect the jurors?
So. I found out in my case that the only people who weren't affected by the media were the jurors, because they were totally sequestered. And unfortunately, most cases the jury aren't totally sequestered, and I know they're affected by public opinion, by neighborhood opinion, and you cannot protect them from if it's a high-profile case, you cannot protect them from being infected by somebody's opinion, somebody else's opinion, and if it's going to be a tough and unpopular decision, I think jurors are affected by it. If they're unaware of what's happening out there, sometimes I think you're going to get a true and honest decision. I think it affects other witnesses in cases more than anything else, because people go on. They're out in the public. They're afraid to. Once they know and they're being seen by the public, people get afraid. People change their opinions.
Do you hate the media?
No, I don't. I think the media, at this point in America, that what's going to hurt our forefathers, I think, never foresaw cable TV. They never saw. Well, they did, because I used to always do the quote of Thomas Jefferson about, one who doesn't listen to the media is better informed than one who does, and that one who hasn't heard the lies and inaccuracies. Right. So Thomas Jefferson was hip to the media way back then. But I just think right now the media is hurting our legal system. I really did. They're affecting the legal system too much, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. And I think that it's time for the media to be reined in a little bit. I was a big fan of, I think, Caroline Kennedy's book about the media, criticizing the media. And I can't recall the name of the book right now, but I just think the media has a little too much leeway. I love, every time I hear about Canada and a little bit of England, how they, when it comes to a trial, how they treat the media, how the media is restricted from really doing a lot of things.
It's funny you say that. Some people say that cameras is the reason why you weren't convicted.
Well, I think cameras, the one thing I can say the cameras did for me, still don't make me, even though in one area the camera benefited me, the main area that the camera benefited me was so many women called immediately during one of the hearings when they saw Mark Fuhrman, to tell the DA first. The DA wouldn't listen, and then people like Kathleen Bell and these ladies who didn't know me from Adam's house cat. As a matter of fact, I think Kathleen has said she thought I was guilty, but they felt the need to report to the DA's office about his racial animus, and eventually they end up calling us, and it were things that I would say to my lawyers about specific things, and they just didn't add up, just didn't make sense. And then once we started looking in that area, they started making sense.
Do you have, looking back over your life, and I realize you're still a reasonably young man, what are your regrets?
I can easily say, I don't mean to make light of this, but a couple of my buddies always say, man, you should have kept your butt in New York, that weekend. But hey, look, I regret that I was unfaithful to 2 wives. Not that I went out to be unfaithful, but I think I had affairs, and I didn't have a lot of them, but I certainly had a couple of affairs on both my wives. I think I regret that most of all. When I look at my when I have to take personal inventory of myself. Then outside of that, I think my regrets are no different than what most people's regrets are. I wish I had paid more attention to this or than that, and I was about it. But in the last 4 years, I've said, more the last 6 years than the whole 10 years, is and I have an excellent relationship with my 2 older kids, but I kind of regret that I didn't get with them or experience some of the things with them that I experienced with Sydney and Justin. I was too busy.